Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at a really interesting film review today. It's from Moviescramble, written by Mary Munoz, and it's all about this Korean neo-noir film called Nocturnal.
Right, the one that just premiered in Europe at the Glasgow Film Festival.
Exactly. And what we want to do here, our sort of mission, is to unpack what Munoz says in this review.
Yeah, figure out why she's calling it a must-see crime drama. What are the key bits? The plot, the style, the performances.
What makes it tick, essentially, according to her take.
Precisely. And she starts with this really cool hook, doesn't she?
Yeah, this idea that a murder in the film looks like it came straight out of a best-selling novel.
This whole life-imitating art angle, that seems to be the core mystery.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit more based on the review. The film's Nocturnal. It's the second feature from writer-director Jin Hwang Kim.
And the review immediately flags it as confident, gritty neo-noir. So setting expectations.
Definitely. And the main conflict, the thing that kicks it all off.
Well, we meet Bae Min-tae, played by Ha Jung-woo, great actor. He's literally just got out of prison, and bam, he's investigating his brother's death.
The brother, Bae Sik-tae, found dead in a karaoke bar. Very neon lit, classic noir vibe.
Totally. And then things get complicated fast. The brother's girlfriend, Cha Moon-young, that's Yuda In, she's vanished. She's on the run.
Right, which immediately makes you wonder, okay, was she involved? Did she order it?
Or maybe it's the local crime boss, Chang-mo. Did the brother cross him somehow? Lots of questions up front.
And this is where that twist comes in, the one the reviewer really seems to focus on.
The life-imitating art bit.
Yeah, the murder scene is apparently very, very similar to a scene in a novel written by one of Cha Moon-young's old lecturers.
Kang Ho-ryung, played by Kim Nam-gil.
Okay.
And he actually wrote the book called Nocturnal.
Which is quite a meta touch.
It is. And what the review stresses is that this connection, this book plot bleeding into reality, isn't just like a clever gimmick.
No, it's apparently fundamental. It's key to unlocking the whole mystery. It's not just a murder mystery anymore.
Right. It's about how fiction and reality have blurred here.
So, talking about how the story unfolds, the reviewer makes it clear this isn't simple.
No, not your standard revenge flick. You need to pay attention, apparently.
That's what she says. Jin Hwang Kim, the director, he's weaving together multiple storylines, different perspectives, flashbacks.
Sounds complex, but the review says he handles it expertly.
And the cast is quite large. But instead of being confusing, it apparently helps build out the world of the film.
Makes it feel more real, perhaps?
Maybe. And the pacing. The review uses the term tight.
Yeah, driven by this cat-and-mouse chase structure. But it's not just one chase.
No, it's four-way. You've got Bae Min-tae, the brother, obviously looking for answers, maybe revenge.
Then Chang-mo, the crime boss, probably wants her for his own reasons.
The police, naturally.
And, intriguingly, the novelist himself, Kang Ho-ryung. He's also pursuing her.
So 4 different groups after the same person. That sounds intense.
It does. And the review makes a really interesting point about how this structure works.
Oh, yeah.
By following each of these pursuits separately, you, the viewer, start to piece together the backstory.
Ah, so it's not just flashbacks dropped in. The chases themselves reveal the past.
Kind of. They reveal Bae Sik-tae's history, his relationship with Cha Moon-young. The structure is actually how you uncover the truth behind the murder. Connects the present action to the past events.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Okay, now, something the review gives quite a bit of space to. The violence.
Oh, yeah. It says it's bound to hook your attention. Described as visceral, unflinching.
Doesn't shy away, even in flashbacks to the actual death.
And Bae Min-tae, the main character, sounds pretty hardcore. Ruthless, fearless.
Doesn't back down even when outnumbered, apparently.
Yeah, the review gives some pretty brutal examples, threatening old shopkeepers with a gas canister.
Wow. And beating a guy almost to death with a coat stand.
Yikes. His weapon of choice is apparently a pipe.
And the review gets graphic, mentioning hearing the crunch of metal on bone, seeing bloodied close-ups. It sounds quite full-on.
It really does. But interestingly, it's not just presented as messy brutality. The fight choreography gets praised.
Right, called impressive. It mentions specific techniques like overhead tracking shots.
And slick editing, short, sharp cuts for impact.
And those 360 shots around a gang fight. That sounds visually dynamic.
Yeah, it sounds like they put thought into how the violence is filmed, not just what happens.
There's even this specific detail, Bae Min-tae smacking someone's head against a perspex window.
And it creates a gloriously thunderous percussive effect. That's quite a description. Sounds like the sound design is doing heavy lifting, too.
It does. So, okay, you've got this gritty, complex plot, intense, well-choreographed violence, but then the review pivots.
To the performances, which are called excellent, despite everything else.
Yeah, Ha Jung-woo as Bae Min-tae, the reviewer says he carries the film.
Describes him as having this steely determination. It's not spoken, but you always feel it.
And what I found interesting was the mention of nuance.
Right. He's this very physical, tough character, but the review points out these little glimpses of hurt.
Like a lingering hand over a book or moments of desperate panting. Small things that suggest something deeper.
Yeah, a vulnerability beneath the surface, maybe.
Perhaps. And that apparently contrasts really well with Kim Nam-gil as the novelist.
Ah, the guy in the neat polo necks and glasses.
Exactly. A clear visual contrast between the intellectual world and the street-level grit.
The review also suggests this sense of inevitability for the brothers, Bae Min-tae and his dead brother, Bae Sik-tae.
How so?
That they were just trapped, caught in this endless cycle of violence, addiction, gang life. It couldn't really end well.
That idea of being trapped feels pretty key to the review's overall take.
Yeah, the actual story of the dead brother and the girlfriend, it's described as dramatic but also really depressing.
Steeped in the consequences of addiction and violence. It's not glamorized.
No, definitely not. It sounds quite bleak underneath the thriller elements.
Which makes the reviewer's final recommendation quite strong.
It really is. A must-see for lovers of a good crime drama that's willing to get its hands dirty. That's pretty emphatic.
And it sounds like it still delivers on the entertainment front.
Oh, yeah. Mentions car chases, personal vendettas, gang clashes, real tension. It's not just grimness.
And this really caught my eye. The reviewer says the last 5 minutes alone are well worth the ticket price.
Wow. High praise indeed. Calling it seriously entertaining cinema and saying the ending leaves you wanting more.
That's quite something for a film exploring such dark themes.
It is. And just to loop back, this review came from its showing at the Glasgow Film Festival, which is a pretty big deal.
Right. Helps contextualize where this positive buzz is coming from. Okay, so we've really dug into Mary Munoz's review of Nocturnal here. We've touched on that core life-imitating art idea.
The complex structure with the four-way chase revealing the backstory.
The intense, stylish violence.
And the strong, nuanced performances holding it all together.
It definitely sounds like a film with a lot going on.
It does. And, thinking about that structure, the multiple pursuits, the flashbacks, it makes you wonder.
Go on.
The review suggests it's not just about solving the whodunit. Maybe the way the story is told, constantly looking back while chasing forward, is meant to show how inescapable the past is for these characters.
Ah, like that cycle of violence the review mentioned the brothers were trapped in.
Exactly. Maybe the structure itself is mirroring that feeling of being trapped, haunted by past actions, addictions, gang ties, things you can't outrun no matter who's chasing you. Perhaps the real deep dive the film offers isn't just the crime, but the human cost of being stuck in those cycles.
That's a fascinating thought to leave things on. A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we hope this closer look at the Moviescramble review gave you a good sense of what Nocturnal might offer, according to this particular perspective. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. What parts of this review stood out most to you?